Manchester United climbed to the top of the table as a result of this win at home to Oldham. It took them until 6 minutes from time before Neil Webb, in the starting lineup for the first time this season, set up Brian McClare for the only goal of the game. There were sighs of relief at Highbury as champions Arsenal chalked up their first win of the season against Luton. Lee Dixon setting up Paul Merson after 18 minutes. Nice turn, good finish. Just after half-time, it was Alan Smith who flicked on Seaman's kick, then went on to meet Merson's flick. Last year's winner of the Golden Boot collects his second in 2 games. The Gunners' first victory was marred when Anders Limpar elbowed Mark Pembridge 10 minutes from time. There have been some contentious sendings off this season, but there were few complaints about this one. Manchester City started this match as league leaders, the only club with a 100% record. They needed a win to stay above neighbours United. In the event, it was only Tony Coton's fine goalkeeping that prevented Norwich grabbing all 3 points. Wimbledon were the away side for this fixture at Selhurst Park, but John Fashanu made himself at home. Wimbledon taking the lead after 10 minutes, Fashanu's 3rd goal of the season. Palace's Nigel Martin became the first goalkeeper in the First Division to be given his marching orders after bringing down Robbie Earle, apparently for violent conduct, an offence that's likely to carry a 3-match ban rather than the 1 for a professional foul. John Solarco, who gained his first England caps as a winger on the summer tour down under, took over in goal. But it was Hans Sagers in the other goal who looked like the stand-in keeper. Sagers fumbling Ian Wright's cross, Mark Bright grabbing the equaliser. Solarco wasn't the only one who chanced his arm at some amateur goalkeeping. Terry Phelan on the line. That earned him the game's 2nd red card. Deliberate handball is now classed as a professional foul. From the penalty spot, Andy Gray put Crystal Palace 2-1 up. All this, and it wasn't even half-time. After the break, things continued at the same frenetic pace. Andy Gray's long ball. This time it was Bright who crossed, and Wright who took advantage of the Wimbledon keeper's poor handling. Vaughan Ryan became the 3rd player to be sent off after 2 bookable offences in quick succession. Fashanu was stretchered off with a dead leg, and with 3 minutes left, Carlton Fairweather's cross allowed Robbie Earle to become the 5th player to get his name on the score sheet. 3-2. The Dons were denied a last-minute equaliser only by the reflexes of the stand-in keeper, Solarco. Spurs, still smarting after losing to Chelsea last week, went behind after 10 minutes. Typically, there's some nice passing from Nottingham Forest. That's Jemson. 1-2 between Clough and Scott Gemmell, although Nigel Clough was a little lucky, his shot took a deflection and over Ian Walker in the Spurs goal. Spurs got on level terms 5 minutes before half-time. Gary Lineker. And the Londoners took the lead midway through the second half. A fine goal too. Naeem does well on the wing. But what a great finish from the Scottish international, Gordon Durie. Mark Crossley in the Forest goal is beaten at his near post for a 2nd time when Iceland's Gundi Bergson put the game out of reach for Forest. Tottenham's 3rd of the night. And to compound a miserable night for Brian Clough, Stuart Pearce was given the red card for swearing about a tackle by Paul Stewart on Roy Keane. Leeds looked too fast and too strong for Southampton at the Dell. 23 minutes played. Gary Speed lays the ball off to Mel Sterland and makes a fine run into the box to pounce on Neil Ruddock's error. Not a good day for Ruddock, who was sent off early in the second half after bringing down the former Saint Rod Wallace. Gordon Strachan made it 2-0 from the spot. Leeds' third came from a penalty as well. Lee Chapman adjudged to have been pulled down by Russell Osman there. A decision made by the linesman. The referee had originally waved play on. Strachan again does the honours. Gary Speed rubbed salt into Southampton's wounds, unleashing this terrific 30-yarder in the closing minutes. 2 wins and a draw for Leeds from their first 3 games. West Ham managed just 1 goal in their first 3 games, so when Tony Daly's acceleration and fine finishing put Villa in front just after half-time, the Hammers appeared to be on their way to defeat. But 2 goals in 2 minutes changed that. The first from Mike Small, West Ham's £400,000 buy from Brighton. The second came from Leroy Rosigne in the 66th minute to put West Ham 2-1 up. Stuart Slater's fine running and good control made room for Kenny Brown. The right fullback, Brown on loan from Plymouth, seals West Ham's first win back in the top flight, and he couldn't have done it with a better goal. Tommy Johnson got 16 goals for Notts County last year, and it took him just 4 minutes to put the Magpies in front at Stamford Bridge. 4 minutes after the restart, and Notts County were 2 up. Kevin Bartlett making the most of a lack of communication in the Chelsea defence. Chelsea paid Glasgow Celtic £1.4 million for Paul Elliott, primarily to shore up their sometimes fragile backline. Elliott proving a valuable asset in front of goal. That's his second in 4 games. Joe Allen at £200,000 from Hartlepool is also money well spent. He finds the equaliser in the second half after coming off the bench. County's Paul Harding was sent off for 2 bookable offences. After a goalless first half, Sheffield Wednesday took the lead in the 54th minute. Some fine work by Nigel Worthington. Great finish from Danny Wilson. 10 minutes later, an Everton equaliser. Sheedy's corner is superbly met by Dave Watson. But Wednesday had the last word. 3 minutes from the whistle. Player-manager Trevor Francis crosses. Viv Anderson grabs the winner a day short of his 35th birthday. It was all over by half-time at Highfield Road. Coventry took the lead after just 8 minutes when Paul Furlong was brought down in the box. David Smith beats goalkeeper Simon Tracy from the spot. Paul Bryson pulled one back for United 6 minutes later. Squeezing that ball in at the near post, and they managed to hold out until the 28th minute, when Paul Furlong, the £140,000 signing from non-league Enfield, again opened United up. That's his second goal in 3 games. Robert Rosario also seems to be finding life with the Sky Blues to his liking. That's his second in 3 games as well. Coventry's 9th in 3. It makes them the First Division's most prolific scorers. Dean Saunders, Liverpool's £2.9 million striker, finally scored in a red jersey. In the event, it was worth the wait and worth all 3 points for Liverpool. Confirmation of the results. Arsenal off the mark. Wins also for United and Liverpool, and Tottenham's impressive away form continuing. 4 for Leeds at Southampton. plenty of goals and some extraordinary stories from earlier in the week.